Holy crap. Hey, what's going on, everybody? So today I am super excited to introduce to you a figure from Bandai, part of their Super Robot Chogoking series. And this is a figure of the Magiking, the Super Sentai Magiking, or as he's known in the West, Power Rangers Titan Megazord. So just a little backstory on it. I don't really have a packaging for this figure. I kind of got it third hand. But honestly, this figure is probably going to get me very well invested in the series, and definitely invested in the seller itself. Well, because as you'll see in the later review, this guy is really amazing. He's very awesome looking, very cool looking, and it's just, honestly, this is the way collector's toys should be made and should be done. Taking a close-up at the face here, you can see the extreme level of work that went into this figure. The face is very nice molded silver, with the outer part of the mask as a separate layer, which is added to the figure. The eyes are a type of metallic emerald green, which is then outlined with a black eyeshadow, I guess you could call it. But just that in combination with the framing that the red mask makes over the face, it just really makes the whole thing pop. And of course, added to that as well, the hat here, which, like I said, just really helps to bring out everything. The silver and the gold and the red and that emerald green just really pop with one another, and it really brings out that really tiny detail, but that, like I said, it just adds to the overall aesthetic. The figure itself cuts a very sleek profile, and it's even more so than how it's depicted in the original show's appearance. And as you can see, it just gives it this really almost statuesque look to it. Like it's just really cool looking, honestly. It's compared to, say, how a lot of the Super Sentai toys look. You know, he's not very boxy, he's not very, well, I can't really say he's not very blocky, because he is very blocky, but I mean, it's a great combination of how he has that kind of boxy, blocky look that you'd expect a robot to have, combined with more sleeker, molded, angular looks to him. The hands are are connected via a ball joint, which in turn is connected to the arm with a, I guess it's kind of like a hinge joint or a C joint, so it allows for you to move the hands full 360 degrees, but then it allows for them to rock in and out also. They in turn are connected via a double jointed arm or double jointed elbow, and then that is connected to the shoulders via a rotating I guess, upper bicep joint, which in turn is connected to the shoulder via a ball joint, which in turn is attached also via a hinge joint, so it allows the shoulders to swing all the way up, all the way down, gives the arm I'd say, it gives it a full 360 degree movement. The wings do kind of get in the way unless you rotate them out of the way, then of course they're no longer hindered. But also the cool thing is that the shoulder pads here are also attached to the shoulders via a hinge joint, so you can have them, you know, up close as if you wanted to have them shrugging, or just move them in a way to where they're not in the way or they don't hinder. So taking a look at the torso, you see that the torso contains two separate joints here. The top joint is a nice little crunch joint, and it's a very decent hinge joint. The bottom part, or the lower torso, connects to the waist via a ball joint, which allows for a little extra crunching action, but then also it gives them the ability to twist and bend and turn around. Then the waist itself, the front part of the skirt here, and these two are actually on two separate ball joints, which allow for independent movement, and I personally don't know why they included this. the little parts of the skirt don't get in the way of the movements of the legs. They don't really do anything to hinder it, but you can pose them or twist them or move them however you wish, which in turn add to the extra posability of the figure. On the sides of the skirt, these are also on, I guess, they're on little ball joints, but they don't really move too much, mostly just to allow for a little extra up and down movement, which in turn will help to get out of the way for to add a little extra clearance for the leg. If you want to have, you know, your figure posed in a wide-legged stance, they're able to move out of the way. The back of the figure, I guess the butt part of the skirt, that's faceted in. It can be removed. You can actually pull this off if you want. It takes a little extra work, but it is removable. It doesn't really serve any purpose, or it doesn't do anything. The figure didn't come with any other part or any other piece that would connect there, so you can take it off if you want. I just don't really understand why you would. Moving down to the legs themselves are connected to the waist via a ball joint, and they do have a little bit of rotational movement, not much. The leg is able to move forward a full 90 degrees. Same with moving back, it's able to go back almost that same level of degrees, just that butt skirt kind of gets in the way, but you still get a good level of movement back. Moving down to the knee has a nice little double jointed knee joint. You can't really bend the leg back too far. You can get a good 90-degree movement backwards with that. It's not bad. Honestly, it works for me. Moving down to the ankle, the foot is connected to the ankle via a ball joint, which allows for a good full range of motion for the foot. Then that ankle joint is actually also connected here to the shin via a hinge joint, so it allows for a little bit of rocking from side to side also, which is not necessary, but it does add to the posability of the figure. The foot itself also has a hinge. It has a hinge joint right here in the center of the foot, which allows for the foot to flex or bend, which in turn adds to the posability of the figure. So on top of the figure's absolutely insane level of posability, he also comes with several other accessories, namely beside the sword here, he comes with 5 extra hands. The first being this weird like 2-finger come hither pose, also 2 closed fists, as well as 2 gripping hands. And it's, of course, with the gripping hands, they all work with the sword, and they all lock in with the sword. And in fact, taking a closer look, you can see the sword itself is square shaped, and that square shape actually fits in right here between the thumb and the main part of the gauntlet, and that just helps it lock into place. And once it's in there, it doesn't move, it doesn't twist, it doesn't spin around or anything. It stays in there, and it stays exactly how you put it, which is really neat. But also on top of that, the figure also comes with a base stand. Let's see if I can sit it right there. We'll just bump that fist out of the way. There we go. And then also it comes with a, I guess like a clear plastic stand as well that is meant to connect into the figure. And then he also comes with this plastic, I guess, I don't know, it's supposed to depict like its magic whatever, but it's reflecting a lot of light, so it's kind of hard to see. But on the actual, here, let's see if I can put it back here. But yeah, so on the actual thing, you can see his logo is stamped right here in the middle, and then you have the 5 symbols of the I guess the Power Rangers or the Sentai warriors that are supposed to be activating or operating the figure. This is really neat. So the base itself is supposed to connect to the little stand, and as you can see right here, there's, I don't know, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a tiny little lip right there, and that little lip fits right here on the hole so that it sits just like that. Let's move him out of the way. And of course that is going to plug into the stand here. And then the way this is all supposed to work is the figure itself has a little hole here in his butt, so right there, and then that little hole is supposed to have a connector, and then that connector connects in the little hole up here. Problem for me is that because I bought mine third hand, I believe that that little connector may have been lost or may have never been included. So unfortunately, I don't get to utilize this display stand as is. I'll probably have to buy an additional piece or replacement piece so that I can get mine in some more of those signature poses that he has in the show, or even on the back of the box. But if you're buying this guy retail, you should be able to get it, which in turn will add to that level of just awesomeness that this character has. So as far as changing out the hands on this figure goes, it's very simple. Like I said before, the hand is connected via a ball joint here, and that just pops right off. They're on there pretty snugly, but they come off with just a little bit of force. And all you do is you'll just take the hand. And the neat thing too is that the little ball joint here is actually collapsible, so it collapses into the hand a little bit, so that it does help with providing a little extra stability, so that you don't have to worry about breaking the actual thin part of the joint. Although, to be honest, if you manage to break any of the joints on this figure, I would be thoroughly surprised. And the reason why I say this is because all of the joints that connect this figure, to include the ball joints, are all made out of metal. So it's really interesting that they did this, because one, it adds a lot of stability, it adds a lot of protection for the figure itself, because as you're putting it in poses or as you're changing out hands, you don't run the risk of breaking the figure. You may slightly bend the metal, and even then the little pieces here are small enough to where they're pretty sturdy by just being so small. And it's really neat. Like, it really does add to the stability, but it also adds some weight. My final thoughts on the figure is this thing is beautiful. It is absolutely gorgeous. The level of detail that they put into sculpting it and into the actual making of the figure, the level of posability, and just the ability for this toy to have really awe-inspiring and dynamic poses and to be able to hold them, the level of durability that this thing is built with is just absolutely amazing. If this is what the other figures made by the Chogokin series are like, Bandai has a fan for life. They have a customer for life. They can take all of my money, because this is amazing. Like, I cannot stop talking about how just really awesome this toy is, and I want to buy all the toys by these guys. I want to own every single figure that the Super Robot Chogokin and also the Tamashii Chogokin series has, because this is really cool. And given I don't know, after checking on some of the websites, the price points for some of them can be pretty high. Some of them are pretty affordable as well. Like this one here, buying it retail will run you about $40, which isn't bad for this figure and for the way that the toy is made, and for some of the the parts that go into actually making the toy. That's not bad at all. But like I said, this is definitely a collector's level toy, although given like I said, what the joints were made out of, given the thickness of the plastic, this thing is safe in the hands of children as well. So it's just, I can't stop saying this is a definite buy. Like, if you were interested in Power Rangers toys, this is a good one to have. If you're interested in Super Sentai toys, pick it up. If you're interested in just cool looking toys of robots, get it. I mean, this guy is really awesome looking. He's really amazing looking, and I am certainly happy to have him as part of my collection. And I guarantee very quickly other members of the Super Robot Chogokin series are going to be included with him on the shelf. So that's been pretty much it for my review of the Magiking. Hopefully I'll see you guys again with another review. See you later.